Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by ICOM. For more information, visit icomamerica.com/hamnation. By DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. Most in-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/hamnation. And by LDG Electronics. LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art automatic antenna tuners and related products for every amateur need. Visit ldgelectronics.com to learn more.
This is Ham Nation, number 400, May 1st, 2019. Show number 400. Can you believe it? All right. It is our 400th episode. And welcome to everybody. This is a fantastic show. Not that any of the others aren't, but there's some incredible guests here. The person that you just heard doing that incredible video all these years, Joe Walsh, is around the corner. He'll be with us in a couple of minutes. And we just have all kinds of people here. Gordo is here. Jerry and Amy are here. Jerry Ellsworth is, she's just a mechanical genius and an electronic nightmare, really. She does such great things. And we're going to hear from all of those people and many, many, many more. But first, let's have a word from the guy that started all of this and keeps us on the air, W6TWT, Leo Laporte.
Hello, Ham Nation. Leo Laporte here. I want to say hi to Bob and Gordon and George and Don and Valerie and Amanda and Dale and everybody else, because there's a cast of thousands these days on Ham Nation, and congratulate you on 400 years. It's hard to believe that Ham Nation is actually older than this. 400 episodes. Oh, never mind. That's pretty good. It's a lot of episodes. No, congratulations. Keep up the good work. 7-3.
All right. Well, thank you, Leo. And none of this could happen without you and that great crew that we just saw. And we're so blessed that you put amateur radio on the airwaves as you do. One of the things when we started this, you said, I'd like to do a ham radio show. Well, I figured we'd do one or two shows, so I called one of my best friends. That's Mr. Joe Walsh, and we did that first one. Joe Walsh, how are you doing, buddy? WSB6ACU. How you doing?
Hi, buddy. Joe here out in Los Angeles. I'm doing good. I always thought Leo had a beard. I don't know why. Wonder how many episodes he's done. Anyway, I'm on board tonight. I'm glad to be here. I'll walk my iPad around and show you my station maybe in a little bit. But we'll get on with the show first. I like that Dr. Bob Heil.
Yeah.
I just know you as Bob Heil, but I guess you are a doctor. I'm a doctor, too. I got an honorary degree in music.
Yeah.
But, I guess it's okay to say we're doctors.
We are, yes.
Wait, over to you, Bob. I'm glad to be on board.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And yes, we both were dedicated. Mine was the University of Missouri here not too long ago. I'm very honored by that. And it's in music and technology. So I guess it's the theater organ and a soldering iron, huh? Yeah, Joe, why don't you do that now? Let's go look at what you've been doing. You got a bunch of stuff behind you. Let's take a little walk around and see what you're doing.
But let me move here. There's my Collins sign. There's a 390, and next to it is a HF80 system that Brian, NI6Q, and I just about have online. The thing about an HF-80 system is trying to get it all to talk to each other, because there's all kinds of military and all kinds of silly things. There you go. That
All right.
To M1.
Wow. Beautiful.
And
Yep.
here we go. Let's see if I can get this. This is the Holocrafters linear, the HT32A, HT32B, and the SX101.
Wow.
And over here, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the big guy. This is my 20V2.
Beautiful. These are all up on the air and working too, right, Joe?
And I can only thank Wayne Springs, W6IRD, and Brian Thompson, NI6Q, who have really, really helped me put it together and get an antenna on the roof and get on the air. So that's what's going on this end. I'm on 3870 and 20 meters on weekends when it's open.
When it's open.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we want to remind everybody that 3870 to 3890 is the AM window. So
Yes.
we want to make sure that when you get on 75 meters and you're on single sideband, you want to save that place for the AM. And we have just a little bitty space there. It's a gentleman's agreement. So you want to leave all the sideband guys everywhere else because they have a lot of space. That's great. And your antennas are all up and running, Joe? You have towers and all that cooking?
Yeah, so far everything's up.
All right.
Working good. All I got to do is get done with these silly music concerts I have to go play. So it's interfering with my valuable ham time.
That's right.
But I guess we all have that problem.
That's right. Yeah, we do have to have a little bit of fun, but you got to go home and make hay while you can. So that's great. Well, I'm sure everybody appreciates what you do out on that stage, but like to hear you on the air too. So that's great. Looks like you're going to be doing a lot more of that. That's super. Well, yes. I tell you what, I think this guy used to live down the street from you, but we have a couple of videos here. And let's go listen to another ham that just got his license, and we're really proud. And that is Tim Allen. So, Tim, take it away.
Hey, congratulations to everyone at Ham Nation on their 400th episode. We're looking forward to the next 400.
And, of course, if you don't see his show, you want to be sure and see that. It's a wonderful show, and all the gear you saw behind them works. And every Tuesday night after they do the show, they get on the air. And I forget exactly how many, but there's over a dozen of the staff that now have their license, and we appreciate that. Let's go listen to the producer and the youngest member, Jet Jurgesmeyer. This is an incredible kid. He's a great musician and a wonderful new ham. So let's see what's going on with John and Jet.
Hi, I'm John, AA6JA, and I'm one of the original members of the Last Man Standing Amateur Radio Club.
And I'm Jet, KE0UWZ, and I am one of the newest members of the LMS ARC.
That's right. All of us here at Last Man Standing would like to congratulate Ham Nation on their 400th episode.
And we are hoping for many more years of both of our shows. 73, guys.
73 guys.
That's super, super. Joe, are you watching any of those? You get to see any of those when you're on the road? You get to see the replays or anything?
No, I don't. I got to start checking them out. I'm usually getting ready to go on stage.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't see a whole lot of TV. I got to watch everything after the fact. But congratulations to Tim. He's having a really good run there with the show. I should probably be on it at some point. Come over and trash an episode, don't you think?
Absolutely. You should go in and fire up the transmitters during the taping and probably mess up all the cameras and stuff.
Good idea.
Gordo is good at that, Joe, if you missed that episode. Hey, Gordo, wasn't it a couple years back that you hit your handy-talkie and the whole thing wiped out, right, Gordo?
That's absolutely right. One transmission and I was off the air.
Well, Gordon West, it's really good to have you with us. You've been one of the founding members of this program also. We're going to come back to you in a little bit because I hear you have some things to talk about. But right before we get to you, we have two very special ladies with us. Been some time trying to get this all worked out. But here tonight, live in person, is... I consider these gals to be absolutely the best ham radio operators out there because they can build the ICs. If you have an IC problem, there you go. It's really, really good to see you. Amy, nice to see you. And
nice to see everybody.
Yes.
Nice to see you, Bob. Congratulations on 400 episodes. That's crazy.
It is, but it's people like you that keep us all enthused about it and make it happen. What's new in your world? What are you doing? I always hate to find out if you've built a race car or if you built a pinball machine or you did a new IC for your radio. What are you guys doing now?
Well, we have all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm bootstrapping a startup right now. It's doing augmented reality glasses. So it's these glasses you slip on and video game characters just spring right out of the middle of the table, just like magically, just instantly. Also, I'll be speaking at CPAC in a few weeks. So I'm excited about that. I'll be keynoting that and doing the YL lunch as well. What have you been up to, Amy?
Just a lot of work for the startup.
That's all we do is work.
Following her around, I understand.
Wait, I did get a new pinball machine. I'm glad you brought up pinball machines. I got
good.
Haunted House. I've been looking for 15 years to get this pinball machine. Got it. So not ham radio related, but.
Joe, hey, Joe, are you into pinball machines? I never forgot to ask you that.
I wasn't into pinball machines, but I had a jukebox for a long time. And that's like owning a tank, trying to get that. I had about 80, 45 records in it. And keeping that thing going was, that was all I did. But I'm not very good at pinball. I'm not that fast anymore. They go too fast. Do they have pinball machines for senile people? You might check into that.
What you do is you put a couple phone books under the front legs and just flatten them out.
There you go. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. What's the name of your pinball game?
So I picked up a Haunted House. It's a very special pinball machine that has 3 levels to it. There's an upper playfield, there's the plain middle playfield, and then there's a basement. And it's all themed on Halloween and spooky things. Super rare.
Whoa.
I'll have to check it out. It sounds pretty good. It sounds like I could probably get a couple thousand on that thing.
That's wonderful. We'll have to get that and put it on the show one of these nights. That'd be kind of fun. Really, really fun. I think that could turn into a whole program. Actually, we'll have Joe come back and we'll play with it.
I'll do the music for it.
You do them, yeah. Hey, you heard it live right here, Jerry. Did you hear that?
All right, a pinball shootout.
No. He said he'll do the music for it.
The music for it.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I thought you might have missed that.
I got some new toys too. So we have a Flex radio and a 7610. So we're totally network connected on our radios. We can work FT8 from the couch watching a movie.
That's the way to do it.
Okay. Now the question is, can you put it on AM and talk to Joe and I?
Well, I have it tuned up to 3870 now, so I can tune up.
Okay, there you go. Joe, look
my
out.
preferred tune-up frequency.
Yeah.
Look for
Hey,
him.
are those Millen coils there? The wave trap coils, are those Millen coils on the top shelf?
Yes, yes. Yes, they are.
Ah! There you go. I'm a collector of Millen stuff. I love it.
I am really envious of your boat anchors and beyond boat anchors. That Collins gear there.
Yeah.
Like, did you have to forklift that stuff in?
Yeah.
I've been looking for a Collins.
It was ugly, but it's in. Yeah, there's nothing like moving an AM broadcast transmitter. I'm telling you, you got to get every ham you know, and give them a lot of beer.
A lot of beer. That's right. Oh, golly. Well, I tell you what, gang, we have got a whole bunch of people lined up here to talk and be on the show. So I think what we'll do is we'll let Joe, you got to go do something. I know that. You got another commitment here tonight. And I think Jerry and you never know what Jerry and Amy got planned, but there are no words to thank you for being with us tonight on this very special night. And Joe, it just brings back memories when you and I did that first show and didn't know what was going to happen. And here we are, 8 years. Can you believe that, Joe? 8 years.
No, I don't. And congratulations, Bob. You're really the foundation of it all. Gordy, you look good, man. It's great to see you guys, and congratulations on 400 episodes. That's great, and it's great for ham radio. And I look forward to some pinball with the girls.
Okay, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to say 7-3 to you, Joe, and to the ladies. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you at another Hamfest, girls. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
73.
All right.
Bye, 73.
Thanks so much, everybody. Oh, my favorite people there, I'll tell you. They are something else. Well, Gordo, what a great introduction to a great man of amateur radio like Gordon West. And we're so happy that you have stuck around all these years. You've been the real foundation of Ham Nation. We've been doing this, I think the second or third program you have been here all along. And I really appreciate you being here. So let's see. I think you had a couple of things you wanted to do. So let's go down to Costa Mesa and see what you got cooking.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And wow, what great acts to follow. Joe Walsh and Jerry and Amy. Wow, they were, Jerry and Amy were great at Quartz Fest, always coming up with a new antenna or something that all the older hams were going, wow. They homebrewed it themselves. Well, I thought we'd take a look at a homebrew deal about 2 weekends ago here in Orange County, and that is putting together an antenna as well as introducing ham radio to the general public. So if we could, we're headed to Costa Mesa, where our emergency group called MASAC found that kids love CW. Even if they don't know CW, we still present it to them. And the key they're using is sort of a modified piece of wood, but it's got great contacts. We give them the letters in front of them, and they spell their name out, and they absolutely love it. We give them a certificate, and they remember that they played ham radio. The parents say, wow, that was really cool. So we get a chance to introduce what ham radio can do in an emergency. And because this was the Easter weekend, and Ashley Fisher, KM6 Uniform Juliet Delta, was doing the photography, the bunny came in out of nowhere, like Rare DX on 20 meters, and showed up. But before the bunny showed up, we had to do the annual rig toss. We ask all of our local hams that have a dead rig that is just non-salvageable to bring it over. And we had a contest to see who could toss it the furthest. And, of course, it went into 100 pieces when it hit the ground. But that's what we do for a little bit of fun on that Easter weekend. And that makes ham radio fun when we can go ahead and have a little fun like this. Well, Chip Margelli, K7JA, says, I need a big field to test out my home brew beam. The boom is home brew from older antennas, 1.5 sections, and the feed point is a 50 ohm feed point with a coax, one side going to one end of the antenna driven element, the other going to the other driven element. And the driven elements are Black Widow poles that you can get at Cabela's. And these are the 20-foot poles. If you were doing a 10-meter or a 15, you could get away with a slightly lesser long pole. And what Chip does is he takes number 14 stranded copper wire and tapes them, just simply tapes them to these Black Widow poles that are telescopic, and you pull them out and give them a quick twist. And this is all a homebrew beam made from stuff that he had laying around his shack. And he encourages everybody that you can put together what would be a several $100 beam for less than 30 or 40 bucks. Here we're taking a look at the SWR, and of course we moved everybody out of the way before we did it. And the SWR was very, very satisfactory, even though we were real close to the ground. Well, we've got it sort of on a tripod, but then we drove over the main antenna mount, and this is the U.S. Tower ALM31 plus the U.S. Tower mount. Tower goes up about 30 feet, and it cranks up quite easily, and we needed an open area just to see how his home brew antenna would perform. Well, we went ahead and got everything together and on the tower, and we got the elements all straightened up. And you really couldn't tell what's front and what's back unless you knew, because remember, the poles are a little bit longer than the actual wire that is taped to the side of the poles. But once we began to crank it up in the air, we made some initial checks, and the first thing we found out was, yep, perfectly resonant on the 20-meter band, about 25 dB front to back ratio, about 35 dB down on the sides, and this whole thing is less than about 18 pounds of weight, and the best part of it is all home brew. Yep, we had the Bioenno battery, 100-watt radio, and his first contact with Slovenia, Croatia, France, Germany, and all of the states were wanting to work us on that Easter weekend. And, of course, we had to have the Easter hats to go along with it. So it's pretty exciting when we're able to, on Ham Nation as well as in the Real, put together projects and have them work as well as what we put together here. So we're going to be building on that for upcoming 401, 402, 403 Ham Nation episodes. And that is, we've got all of our Ham Nation hosts working to develop your projects, show your projects as they're coming together, and finally getting on the air. So keep those projects coming, and that'll make our Ham Nation event even more exciting. Now, the next 2 weeks, I'm not here. I'm back or headed toward Dayton, Ohio for the Xenia Hamvention, and you'll be hearing more about Hamvention shortly. I take an extra week just to get there early to look at all the used stuff that goes out at the swap meet a couple days ahead of time. So I'll see you all in Ohio for the next 2 weeks, and then I will return. So let's take a look and see what ICOM America has in store for us, because they'll have a big, huge booth at Hamvention, Ohio. ICOM America, take it away.
Create your own band opening with the IC9700. ICOM's newest SDR transceiver, the IC9700, this new radio is bringing direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. The IC9700 all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features, such as dedicated amateur satellite operation, color touchscreen, built-in D-Star capability, RF direct sampling on 2 meters and 70 centimeter bands, dual independent receivers capable of full duplex operation as well as dual watch, 100 watts maximum output power on 2 meters, 75 watts max on 70 centimeters, and 10 watts max on 1.2 gigahertz. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great ICOM radios. Attention all hams. ICOM knows that ham clubs play a big role in bringing ham communities together to learn from their peers and industry leaders. As a way to give back and help you on your mission, ICOM has launched a promotion exclusively for U.S. ham clubs and the ham fest they're involved with. By registering your club, you could win ICOM swag, a Skype presentation for your club, or your ham fest, an ICOM booth setup. Register today for your chance to win at icomamerica.com/hams. Pack your bags because Dayton Hamvention is coming up from May 17th through 19th at the Greene County Fairgrounds and Expo Center in Xenia, Ohio. See the latest and greatest ICOM gear and meet hams from all over the world. If you're going to Hamvention this year, then you need to go to icomamerica.com/amateur and register to win one of their limited edition swag kits they'll be giving away there on site. You do have to attend Hamvention to win one of these. If you're going, I want you to go to icomamerica.com/amateur and register today. ICOM invites you to enter in the weekly drawing for some great swag prizes like t-shirts and hats at icomamerica.com/hamnation. You'll also be registered for the monthly grand prize drawing for a new radio, and for April that new radio is the ID5100A Deluxe, an innovative 2-meter 70-centimeter mobile with touchscreen. It does both D-Star and analog. It's got built-in GPS, DV dual watch, optional Bluetooth board. There's Bluetooth and Android apps available, and lots more. So go to icomamerica.com/hamnation after this and each episode of Ham Nation and register to win. Sign up, good luck, and don't forget to follow ICOM America Inc. on Facebook and Twitter. You know, it's hard to believe that Ham Nation's been going for 8 years now. Really doesn't seem like it's been that long. After it first began, Bob asked me if I would like to join, and I said, well, sure. So in episode 8, I made my first appearance. Coincidentally, Jerry happened to be in that episode as well. I had planned to talk about soldering, but here's how it went.
And I want to introduce to you George, W5JDX from Mississippi. George, are you there with us?
Yeah, hi, Bob. It's good to be joining you and Gordon and everyone on the show tonight. I've really been looking forward to this. A good place to begin with, if you're going to learn some electronics, is learn how to solder.
There were some technical difficulties with the video that I sent, so unfortunately it didn't play.
So we appreciate you being here. Next week we'll have time for the video and we'll get it on properly.
I came back to next week, though, and we did play that video.
Here's a segment I did in episode 9 of AmateurLogic.tv. It was titled How to Solder Like a Pro.
One thing I want to caution you about is always disconnect the power from whatever you're going to be soldering to the material that we'll be soldering. The reason that you'll want to tin wires is make them stick quicker to whatever connector or other wire you're soldering it to. As you can see, I put my iron on the wire and then we touch the solder right to where the wire and the soldering iron join. We don't put the solder on the iron and then put it on the wire.
And yes, back when that video was originally shot, it was before Ham Nation, I had a ponytail. Now, you know, this being an amateur radio show, I thought maybe we should build some radios.
I looked in the book for the Crystal Radio kit, and one of the first things they mention is sanding and staining the wood. And that sounds like a good idea. I'll probably want to hang on to this kit. It looks real nice.
For whatever reason, I failed to capture the audio of that electric sander running, and I went searching for something to put in there in its place. And that's how I got started using sound effects in my videos.
I'm going to put on the knob now. And we've turned it all the way counterclockwise.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the Air in The War of the Worlds.
In a later episode, I decided to build a little more modern radio. So I built an Alinco AM/FM radio kit.
And now let's solder these parts in, and we'll come back to the rest after this. Now, you may have a different capacitor with your kit, so you definitely want to check this. Now, we've got 2 screws here to put in
to hold the capacitor to the board. So this is doing what it should be doing, with the exception that the strength is getting higher. And I'm not sure what that's about, but we have not done the final alignment on this yet.
That wasn't the most modern radio that I built. I also built a SoftRock RX-TX Ensemble software-defined radio on the show, and we showed you how to do surface mount soldering with a heat gun.
Now we'll use our tweeters to position all the components as best we can on the pads that they belong to. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close on. Now the hardest one here is going to be the chip, because these legs are so tiny on it. And we see another capacitor heating up. We see the chip and the bottom capacitor warm up. And now it looks like all the solder has melted.
I once demonstrated how to install a PL259 connector. In this video, I demonstrated how to install a Type-In connector.
Now we'll put the ring inside the connector, and the sharp end of it will go toward the rubber washer, and the other end is kind of rounded off on the edges. We'll slide that down on the cable here. Now I'll go back to the soldering iron and just kind of touch up our tinning job there to get it good and flat. And then we'll take a little solder and put down in the hole on the side of the pin, being careful that we don't get solder on the outside of the pin here, making it hard to go into the connector. We don't want it too short, and we certainly don't want it sticking out, because it will destroy the female connector that we plug it into.
In a number of episodes, we talked about the differences between balanced and unbalanced audio. And we talked about how to connect a microphone or a mixer to your rig.
So you just bought a new microphone. You unbox it, and it looks great.
Surely you will sound like a radio god now.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Then you turn it around and look at the connector on the end. Oh no, it's got 3 connections, and your radio only has 2. If we're using a balanced cable, which has 2 center conductors, we connect the negative lead to the shield at the unbalanced end of the cable.
We looked at different methods of making printed circuit boards at home. In this episode, we looked at the toner transfer method.
How to transfer that image onto a PC board. Specifically, the toner transfer method. And I don't see any obvious holes or pits in there, so we should have a good chance at making this work. And then we'll take our steam iron, put it on top, and hold a little pressure on it and hope for the best. I do see around one edge there that the acid got a little anxious.
And on Smoke and Solder, we occasionally take the time to have a little extra fun.
Now, however, after several years of research and development, the final design stage consists of 6 hydroscopic Marzul vanes fitted to an amberfescent lunar wane shaft made of titanium alloy to prevent any side fumbling, and there's no need to offset it from the tower center line. The main traction winding is of the normal Lotus Odaltoid type, placed in a panoramic semi-bulloid slot of the stator. Every 7th conductor is connected by a non-reversible Tremie pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the grammeters.
One of my favorite segments on Ham Nation was when I built this speaker using a Dixie cup, a Cheerios box, and a few rubber bands.
It seems to be suspended to where the voice coil is not bottoming out, and it's not scraping against the magnets either. There's just one more test that I wanted to try.
My plan tonight was to grab a few clips from some of the 8 years of Smoke and Solder, and unfortunately, I only got some out of the first 100 episodes. There's a lot more great stuff in the other 300 episodes, and a lot more coming. Thanks everyone for watching Ham Nation and the sponsors and supporters. We couldn't do it without you. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, thank you very much, George. You're exactly right. Nothing happens without the sponsors. We had all of the crew on earlier, and there's more than 1 or 2 people behind us, that's for sure. And those people they don't do their work for nothing. I'm sure you don't either. So we do need sponsors, and we're very fortunate to have sponsors that help us along the way. And of course, Leo and his kindness to give us this wonderful space on his network. In my case, I'm down in the country north of Springfield, and I wouldn't even be able to be with you if it wasn't for Viasat over all these years. In fact, when I first got the house down there was no internet at all. And Leo said, "What are you going to do?" And Viasat was just cranking up. So all through the years, Viasat's been with us, and we're very, very fortunate to have them help us get the signal out of Pleasant Hope, that's for sure. One of the things when we're talking about our smoke and solder that has really caught on was this crazy little pine board project. This is how it started. It was a 75-meter transmitter. There were a lot more to it. We built a power supply, and then we built the modulator, which was a 12AX7 mic preamp and equalizer. And there are hundreds of them on the air now. And one of the things that happened that was very special for all of us here at the show is the fact that it got picked up by QST and the ARRL, and it got their cover award for January last year. And this is all because of things that happened here on Ham Nation. So it's very important for you to make this a weekly occurrence. And you don't have to be here right at the hour. You can go back and watch every one of the shows, all the replays. Just put Ham Nation into Google, and you'll find them all there. All 400 of them after tonight. There's 399 of them now. And we're so fortunate to have all of these wonderful people that support us in building these. And I'm on the air talking to some of them using the little pine board. Let's see. I think we're going to be able to go down to Arizona and talk to Fred Lloyd. Fred is the mastermind of QRZ. Fred, how are you doing? And thank you for being here.
Well, hi, Bob. Well, congratulations on the 400th episode. Who would have ever thought that, such great things would happen from such humble beginnings? But I'm sure glad to have been a part of it, at least on some of the episodes. And I'm really glad to be here today. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Well, Fred, I don't know how ham radio could exist without what you do. I'm sure every ham radio operator dials up QRZ at least once a day, sometimes 3 or 4 or 5, me included. It's very helpful, and I don't know what the hobby would be without all of your help and all of your crew, too. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate you being here tonight. What's happening with you these days? What's the project of the time for Fred Lloyd?
Well, right now I've just been settling in. I moved to a different house, and I've been moving for the past month. It's always fun trying to get my shack set up again. Coming up at the beginning of the month, in the 1st of June, I'm going to be at the Prescott Ham Fest in Prescott, Arizona. There on the grounds of Embry-Riddle University, where there's a nice ham fest there. And I'm going to give a talk all about QRZ. And for those of you that are in the area or anywhere that would like to come by, I urge you to, because we're going to go through and actually have a live setup, a live screen set up into QRZ. And I'm going to walk people through all the different features that QRZ has to offer. I did this recently at the Superstition Amateur Radio Club in Mesa, Arizona, and it was very well received. In fact, I surprised myself because I only had an hour to talk, and after that hour went by, I felt like I'd only touched on the surface. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I urge everyone to come out to Embry-Riddle University to the Prescott Ham Fest on June 1st.
Well, that sounds interesting. You're going to have to get a video camera hooked up and do that here on Ham Nation some night. That would be really fun. I'll have to talk to you about that. That's wonderful. I do know that you have a lot of things going on. What's the latest innovation that you've done with QRZ, Fred?
Well, the latest innovation is actually we're putting together a new shopping system that is for purchasing subscriptions and certificates and things of that nature. It's not really something that people will necessarily jump for joy with, but it will make the ordering process a lot smoother. And we're using a commercial package now for that, and it's just going to streamline everything. We're all really looking forward to it. But aside from that, we're just busy as all get out, serving upwards of 60,000 hams per day coming in on the site, and still hovering around 1 million pages every single day. It's quite a job just keeping all that going.
Wow, that's amazing. 1 million. Wow. Well, thank you so very much. Personally, I want to tell you I appreciate everything you do, and I know there are thousands. I guess I'm wrong. I guess there are millions that appreciate what you do, and I want you to keep it up. So we'll have you come back some night and give us a little more information about what's going on behind the scenes at QRZ. Until then, thank you so very much, and I really appreciate you being with us tonight on this special 400th episode.
Congratulations to you too, Bob, and all of your helpers there. It certainly is a pleasure, and we'll look forward to coming back on the show and doing that personalized tour of QRZ. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. Well, when we first started Ham Nation, we were in it for some time, and Gordo and I said, we need to find somebody that knows something about DX and contesting, because it wasn't us. Give us a soldering iron or a piece of wire to make an antenna, and that was our charge right there. And I started looking, and one night in the chat room, I kept noticing this Val kept answering a lot of questions about DX, and I'm going, wait a minute. So I sent Val a note. Now, you got to understand, my grandfather's name was Val. So I wasn't sure what gender we had, didn't care. But somebody really knew a lot about contest and DXing, a lot more than Gordo and I. So I get back this very, very nice email telling me she couldn't do this because she was too shy. Really? Okay, but you can talk in a microphone and you get on the air. Well, you know the end of this story. She worked in a radio station, and she does all kinds of things and climbs antennas, and she lives on one of the greatest antenna farms in the U.S. Her and Jerry have gotten together and made it happen. And I want to tell you that she's one of the other darlings here on Ham Nation. So let's hear a little bit from Valerie and hear some more about what she's doing in DX in contesting. Valerie, it's all yours.
Hi, everybody. Valerie, NV9L. I just want to say congratulations to everybody here on Ham Nation, including those in front of the camera, behind the camera, as well as all the viewers and all the guests we've had over the years. And there's been thousands. So without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you to everybody. I've just been so honored, so blessed to be chosen to be a part of Ham Nation. And I've hoped you've enjoyed my segments, which hopefully help to entertain and educate on different aspects of ham radio. So hopefully I'll be around for a lot more of these episodes, and hopefully you will as well. And in order to celebrate, I'm going to show you a few clips of some of my favorite episodes that I got to present to you over the years here on Ham Nation. The big thing he does now that I'm really impressed with is he does do a talk on ethics in contesting. Well, not just in contesting, ham radio, right, Ward?
Yeah, that's right. Contesting is just one little piece of ham radio.
A lot of stations got DQ'd for CQ Worldwide Sideband, which is another way of saying disqualified. About 80 stations to the tune. So I thought it would be timely to kind of talk about ethics in ham radios.
Okay, well, ethics is what you do when nobody is watching. And morals is knowing the right path, and then ethics is choosing the right path, actually taking it.
We got a ride in the cable car up to the platform and the full VIP tour.
This open here. We have a double protection sphere. Pretty cold. Oh, yeah. Give me a wave. Yeah, we're going to go through the rotary joint. The signals come up from the cross dipole. They bounce off of this reflector. That spiderweb looking mesh, that's the reflector. So it bounces from the dipoles into that reflector, off the main 1,000-foot reflector, up into the ionosphere. Wow. And then we use the 430 megahertz long antenna. Right. And then with that ionosphere system, then we see what is the effect of ionosphere modification.
We're talking about Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Yankee Japan, Andy, but it shows the spirit of ham radio operators and what giving people they are. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about what he's been doing for his part with the Hurricane Harvey victims of the flooding and the hurricane down in Texas.
I've been down here in Texas for about 5 days now. It's something terrible. I don't think they could ever plan for anything like this. It's just phenomenal, all the amount of water that is everywhere. I took over taking care of dogs down here and bringing them in, and had a bunch of volunteers show up at Livingston. And those fellows that were running Aries on the 40 and 80 meter nets around here, they really provided the biggest service to us and telling us what weather was coming in and whatnot. Yeah, that's a temporary fence we strung up and bolted together and everything and put feeders in it and stuff. Those 3 dog houses we drug out of the barn and threw in there and cleaned out all the weeds in it and strung that fence up. And that's the barn back there in the background that we used.
Who knew that the face of an angel tonight would be in the form of Andy in a dark room with a canine hat on? But Andy, you're truly an angel. You're a good friend to all of us, and you're doing God's work.
Don, of all people, Don, why don't you tell us? I know that this is really hard for you. Just one more thing for you. How did you feel when you had to escape with Don and Tyler during Katrina?
I think that Katrina hit like on a Monday morning early, and we evacuated. We got out on Sunday morning. And if you're in the area where there are refugees, evacuees, or as Jeff put it, guests, and you encounter them, by all means, random acts of kindness are greatly appreciated. Once the churches found out that we had a 5-year-old, I mean, they were over every day with food, with money, with toys, and I'm getting choked up thinking about it. But one thing that happened to us that was particularly touching is the 3 of us, Don, Tyler, and me, and again, he was 5, kindergartner. We were in a Target, I believe it was, in Little Rock, and we were I think we had like $20 worth of stuff in our basket. We're just standing around in line, just talking casually, not talking about anything specifically, and certainly not talking about the storm. And the person in front of us heard her speak and turned around and said, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry, but are you guys here from New Orleans?" And we said, "Yes, we are." And they said, "Did you evacuate from the hurricane?" We said, "Yes, we did." And this person said, "I'd like to buy everything in your basket."
Oh.
And what do you say? But thank you. So if you can pass that on, by all means, do it.
Well, that's all I've got for this week, so I'm going to head it back to Net Control. Hopefully, I'll see you guys for many, many, many more weeks to come. 100, 200, 300, 400, hopefully. So back to Net. This is NV9L. I'll be clear.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that being with us. I know that you and Jerry have a lot going on, but thanks for joining us tonight on the 400. Well, our next guest is very special. We talk about the ARRL. What is American Radio Relay League? And here's kind of I consider him the spokesperson of the ARRL. Bob, join us. Thank you for being here, Bob Inderbitzen.
Well, it's great to be here, and congratulations on 400, Ham Nation. Bob, it's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Well, I know that you work long hours and you're all over the country with the league, so this is kind of special to have you join us for a little bit. How about telling us a little bit about what's going on at the league, what you do, and just how important the ARRL is to amateur radio?
Well, thanks, Bob. As you know, because you celebrate it all the time on Ham Nation, this is a place in the organization where we celebrate the very best of our amateur radio service, and so it's members who are active, engaged, and on the air. For those who don't know what ARRL is, it's the National Association for Amateur Radio in the United States, and it's the standard bearer for amateur radio worldwide. I'm a life member. Bob, you're a member. Many of the folks on here are members, or all of them are. We're going to see a lot of them at Dayton Hamvention in just 2 weeks now. It's a fine organization with a great history, but the charge is to advance the art, science, and enjoyment of amateur radio. I do that as the product development manager, looking for new programs and services and opportunities to bring members, always with the goal of engaging hams and bringing more amateur radio operators on the air, active and engaged. It's an exciting time for ARRL. We're working on some really innovative projects right now, including a lifelong learning platform. It'll be an opportunity to really engage new licensees in the amateur radio service more deeply, and those of us who are inactive in amateur radio. There's a lot of ham radio operators stewing about in the FCC database who've never been on the air before. They took a class, they got their amateur radio license, but they didn't get on the air, or they didn't build something, or they didn't go to a ham fest. And so we want to move the mark with some of those new licensees and get them more active. So look forward to a lifelong learning platform that will introduce more amateur radio operators to opportunities to learn online, in videos, in multimedia settings, in webinars, more publications, all sorts of things. So that's what we're doing right now, Bob.
Well, I appreciate that, because this is what exactly we need in the hobby. So many times I run across people that have been licensed a long time and they've never been on the air. They're afraid to be on the air. And we need to get what we used to call our Elmers. I don't hear that word much anymore, but we need help for the newcomers. And I know that everyone in Newington, Connecticut at the ARRL is constantly working on that. So hopefully this might be the year that we can break through and help so many. And we've got many, we're talking hundreds that watch this show that have either gotten their license or got back into the hobby. And we just need to all work together. And I know you guys are constantly working on it. I'm very proud to be a life member from back in the 60s.
Oh, that's great, Bob.
I've been licensed since 1956.
Wow.
And every day is a special day when I get on the air. I have a lot of people ask me, how do you get cranked up? How do you keep going? Get on the air. And I say it all the time. It's one of Gordo's flag wavers. Get on the air, because there's some incredible things happening there. So I appreciate that. Please keep us posted, Bob, and let's get you back on and let more people know about this new learning platform. It sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, Bob, and we'll see you all at Hamvention in just about 2 weeks. And the theme this year at Hamvention is mentoring the next generation. It's a shared theme between the ARRL National Convention and Hamvention. So let's celebrate Elmers and mentoring and helping newcomers get active, engaged, and on the air, Bob.
Excellent. We're going to have Michael Coulter on here in about another 10 or 15 minutes. Michael has been
he's the man.
Foundation of the Hamvention, and he and Tim Duffy are going to give us some of the good things that are going to happen there. So thanks for coming on tonight. We'll see you again real soon, and have a nice safe trip to Xenia.
Happy celebration. Happy 400, everyone.
Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, it's just some of our friends, we see at all of the conventions and stuff, and we don't really get to talk a whole lot. That's been the problem. We're all busy. So nice to get to have him on this show. Well, another session that we brought in and I thought it would be helpful would be some of the videos that each of you have. You have good videos of things you do, your stations, but it takes a lot of work to do that. And one of the people that does that every week or every other week, whatever we have time for, is Dale. Let's see what K0HYD's got going. Dale is just a fantastic guy to do this. Dale, it's all yours.
Welcome to our Ham Nation 400 celebration. Thank you for sharing in the excitement and importance of ham radio. Thank you for tossing that antenna wire into a tree and talking to the world. Thank you for helping during natural disasters. Thank you for being a ham and a Ham Nation viewer. So many memories, so little time. How do you compress 400 episodes into approximately 4 or 5 minutes? Well, how about we start in the beginning? Ham Nation premiered May 24th, 2011. That was about 8 years ago, plus or minus a few weeks. On that fateful night, Bob Heil, K9EID, joined Joe Walsh, WB6ACU. Together, they explored their fascination with ham radio and threw in a little rock and roll. Walsh of the rock group Eagles fame would later write and perform the Ham Nation theme song, turning dit-dit-dit-dit-da-da-da into music. On August 10th that year, Leo Laporte joined Bob and Gordon West. Leo created the TWIT.TV network, and on this night he showed off his new amateur radio call sign, W6TWT. They also explained amateur radio television, and George Thomas joined the team with Smoke and Solder. This night he showed the proper tools that every ham needs. Ham Nation went to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas with Gordo in episode 32. That was on January 25th in 2012. During episode 33, the next week, Gordo shared his adventures from Corkfest. And then Leo helped Gordo show the power of electric current by smoking a pickle with his Morse code key. And they all received inspiration from Buddy Holly's Peggy Sue, K5PSG. The first milestone took place May 31st that year. Episode 50 was a great achievement for the young show. Gordon and Julian celebrated by operating from the beach in Hawaii. Episode 61 on August 23rd, 2012 introduced the 40-meter after show net. Mike WT6H was a guest, and to this day, the after show nets have played an important part in Ham Nation outreach. We had to wait until May 30th, 2013 to celebrate Ham Nation 100, and Joe Walsh joined the celebration. This episode also featured the premiere of Show Me Your Shack. Episode 106 on July 18th that year featured one of the more popular demos from Gordo. He explained VHF tropo ducting. Bob showed how to connect audio studio monitors to your receiver. Episode 118 on October 10th introduced one of our most popular guests. On that night, Fred Lloyd, AA7BQ, the founder and operator of the QRZ website, joined Bob. We always have fun on the Christmas broadcast. In episode 128 on December 19th that year was no different. Santa joined the host with a message from the North Pole, and we discussed the Freeze Your Acorns Off QRP event. Fast forward now to October 1st, 2014, and episode 167. Valerie Hotzfeld had become a regular host, and on this night, she explained how to set up Logbook of the World. We also tipped our hat to Ham Nation on ABC television in the show Last Man Standing with Tim Allen. The audience sees Tim's Ham Shack during Mike's vlog every week, and he even operated on the show's Thanksgiving broadcast that year. Many members of the production crew passed the test, and they now hold amateur radio call signs. 2015 saw another big celebration. During episode 199 on June 3rd, Bob featured Al Matthews, K1LTJ. Al described the huge pileups during the Ham Nation Bicentennial special event. Joe Walsh joined Bob again for Ham Nation episode 200 the next week. That was on June 10th. On December 9th that year, Randy Hall made one of his most popular appearances on Ham Nation 26. His video showed how he built his ham shack in his new home in Oregon. Beginning in 2018 and continuing to this day, Randy's new series, Show Us Your Project, premiered, and it's become very popular. Episode 255 on July 6, 2016, featured a new Ham Nation regular, the Space Weather Lady, Dr. Tamitha Skov. She appears every week just following Newsline, and she explains the effect of the sun's weather on amateur radio propagation. And speaking of our young ladies, Ham Nation episode 264 on September 7th that year featured all YLs all the time. The all YL cast interviewed special guest Victor Alpha 1 YL. Amanda, K1DDN, who reports from the chat room every week, anchored that episode. 2017 was another remarkable year. Bob kicked off the Pine Board project. On episode 289, he described the transmitter. The ARRL's QST magazine would feature this Ham Nation project on its cover of the January edition the next year. As it has every year, Ham Nation hosts broadcasts live from the Dayton Hamvention. This year, they celebrated episode 300. And oh yes, there was another on-air special event going on. Emergency communication is a mainstay of the amateur experience, and in 2017, amateur operators saw plenty of action. During Ham Nation 320 on October 4th, Bob featured Tom Gallagher, the ARRL CEO. Gallagher described hurricane recovery efforts in Puerto Rico. His appearance was another milestone for Ham Nation. It marked the first time a national ARRL official had appeared on Ham Nation. Ham Nation's own Valerie, NV9L, was one of 50 amateur radio operators selected to travel to Puerto Rico. She assisted with recovery communications there for several weeks. 2018 was another good year for Ham Nation. Episode 335 in January featured a preview of Hamcation in Orlando. We saw Pine Board projects built by our readers. Bob and Gordo talked about their field day experiences, and that was on episode 357 in June. And episode 363 in August featured a preview of the Huntsville Hamfest. Speaking of Huntsville, our own Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, who presents Newsline every week, represents Ham Nation every year. Don's proud to present the Young Ham of the Year award winner. That brings us to 2019. This year, it's shaping up to be another exciting year for the Ham Nation team. For example, Bob got to try out his new Amico transmitter build during episode 393. This transmitter kit is a replica of a kit that was popular in the early 1960s. Then episode 395 on March 27th featured the ARRL's new volunteer monitor program. Bob interviewed former FCC official Riley Hollingsworth, K4ZDH. He's heading that program for the ARRL. But tonight's the big night. And thank you for being with us for 400 episodes of Ham Nation.
Great stuff, Dale. Man, you do an amazing job. Everybody here on this show does an amazing job, and I'm just thrilled and happy to be here. Someone else that does an amazing job, of course, is all of our sponsors, and DX Engineering is one. And you can see them at Hamvention. Hamvention is coming up, like they said, from the league just in a couple of weeks, and DX Engineering wants to make sure that you look as sharp as we do for the show. Just a few of the most popular items: DX Engineering polo shirts. You've seen them here on Ham Nation. They're a great choice when a club event calls for business casual. They're made of a lightweight, breathable polyester weave for outdoor and indoor comfort, and they are comfortable. Man, are they comfortable. That's a sharp-looking shirt. I love mine. To top it off, in men's or women's styles and sizes, top it off with the hat. It's making a fashion statement around the globe, the DX Engineering hat. And DX Engineering posts photos of DXpeditioners proudly wearing the official DX Engineering ball cap. So why not get some for your whole club in time for Hamvention, huh? Planning on lugging a bunch of stuff around Hamvention? DX Engineering has great gear bags. The bags can fit Hamfest handouts, a small QRP rig, your HT, your field day munchies, bottles of water. You got to have that. They're made of heavy grade material to resist rips and tears. Inside and outside pockets secure all your small stuff. Wide straps mean you can carry them around comfortably for hours all around the flea market. And the DX Engineering umbrella. Speaking of the flea market, you never know. Summertime, early summer in Ohio. Yeah, the little pop-up showers. That umbrella is perfect for keeping the sun and rain off your neck. It's a 36-inch diameter umbrella, but it collapses to a small, compact size. Includes a carrying pouch. I keep mine in the door pocket in my car. Very, very small. DX Engineering put together Hamvention survival packages, too, to make sure that you're comfortable and stylish at the big event. These come with the umbrella, cotton T-shirt with the DX Engineering logo on the front and the back, the ball cap, and a pen, because you never know when you're going to need to take notes. Choose from 6 packages featuring T-shirts from small to double extra large. But it's not all about DX Engineering. Cruise over to dxengineering.com and you'll see gifts, apparel, shack accessories from names like Viberplex, ARRL, Heil Sound. DX Engineering is a great place for authentic ham radio gear just in time for Hamvention. And DX Engineering ships faster than anybody else in the industry. Most orders shipped by 10 p.m. Eastern time are shipped the same day. And with proven products and expert advice, DX Engineering is helping you shrink the globe. So request your catalog or shop online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at dxengineering.com/hamnation. dxengineering.com/hamnation. And, of course, we thank DX Engineering for their years of support for Ham Nation. And, of course, you can get ICOM gear at DX Engineering as well. We want to congratulate our April winner, Colin, KA7C, won the ID 5100A Deluxe in the ICOM giveaway. And we've got a little word now from Mr. ICOM himself, Ray Novak, and they've been here since pretty much day one.
Bob, Gordo, Leo, hey, it's Ray, N9J, coming to you poolside in Midlothian, Texas. Relaxing tonight because in 2 weeks we'll be on Ham Nation from Dayton, Ohio. So I wanted to congratulate you guys on 400 episodes. Bob, when you came to me to tell me about this show, I said I wanted to be part of it. ICOM would be right there with you. And even though there was a lot of people saying it wasn't going to happen, that no one watches video podcast, hey, you're showing them 400 episodes later. Have a great show, guys.
Wow, thanks, Ray. Ray's a huge fan and a huge friend of this show and a good friend of ours personally as well. So thanks, Ray. We appreciate it. Amateur Radio Newsline is extremely proud to be a part of Ham Nation, and it has been since well into the first probably 20 or so episodes, and we're just pleased as we can be to be involved with that. So now let's go ahead and get the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2165, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, May 1st, 2019, as Ham Nation celebrates 400 episodes. Our top story this week, the passage of more laws in the U.S. banning drivers from using handheld electronic devices while behind the wheel. Hams, however, remain unaffected.
Amateur radio operators in Arizona breathed a sigh of relief as the state's governor signed into law a ban on the use of handheld phones while driving. Ham radio operators' use of mobile rigs is exempt from the law, which otherwise prohibits drivers from using any handheld electronic device. Arizona has become the latest U.S. state to enact such a ban. The law was signed on April 22nd by Governor Doug Ducey, and although the law takes effect immediately, the penalties do not kick in until January 1st, 2021. The ban also exempts citizen band radio operators as well as commercial drivers who are using a radio to communicate with a dispatcher. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
What's up with Bouvet Island? On again, off again, on again? Newsline anchor Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, has an update.
There's encouraging news from the 3Y0I Bouvet Island de-expedition team, which postponed its attempt to activate the island earlier this year. A posting on the website for the Rebel DX group notes that they expect the postponement to be brief. As they rest up, they've already got their license renewed, and their equipment remains in Cape Town, South Africa in storage. Their plan? They hope to be Bouvet bound when it's fall in the Northern Hemisphere.
The nominating period for the Newsline WA6 ITF Young Ham of the Year Award is still open. Full details and the nominating form can be found on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. Nominations close May 31st at midnight Eastern Time, and we'll present the award in August at the Huntsville Hamfest in Alabama. Ham Nation is celebrating a huge milestone. It started as an idea by Leo Laporte after Bob Heil was a guest on the Twit Network show Triangulation. Amateur radio call signs started populating the show's chat room, and it did not go unnoticed by Leo. After some arm twisting and a few phone calls to people like Joe Walsh, WB6ACU, and Gordon West, WB6NOA, Ham Nation show number 1 debuted on Wednesday, May 24th, 2011. Now, 8 years and 400 shows later, we're still here and going strong. So to the many viewers and fans of Ham Nation, we say a heartfelt thank you for 8 amazing years. To say this has been life-changing for those of us who bring Ham Nation to you would be the understatement of the century. And we can't wait for the next 400 shows. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Andy Morrison, K9AWM, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation show number 401. You know, it was a couple of 2 or 3 years ago, I think, that I was researching a story on sunspots for Amateur Radio Newsline, and I came across a video from a lady named Dr. Tamitha Skov, and I thought, this is amazing. She takes this high up in the sky, very technical subject, and makes it to where even I can understand it. And so I emailed her and I said, hey, can I use a piece of your video for this ham radio newscast? And she knew about ham radio and said, absolutely, please, by all means. Well, now, a few years later, she's a regular part of Ham Nation, and she has a call sign. She has a call sign, WX6SWW, which of course stands for Weather 6, Space Weather Woman. And here she is now, live tonight on our 400th show, Dr. Tamitha Skov. Hello, darling. It's so good to have you on live with us tonight.
Hello, and I'm so glad to be here. And I not only have a call sign, I also have the T-shirt. So been there, done that.
Yay!
There you go. So I didn't get to wear it tonight, but I'm definitely going to be taking it with me to Hamvention. I'm very excited to go and see all of you there. So I guess I should say thank you, Don. You were the whole reason why I am now an amateur radio operator, and I've learned so much about the field from all of you and from this show. It's just been amazing how much knowledge you guys put out on a weekly basis, and the idea that it's 400 episodes. I mean, everybody should have the name doctor under their name, because it's just the amount of knowledge that you put out. You could be, doing your own university on this stuff. So thank you so much for making me part of the Ham Nation family. It's absolutely been an honor and a privilege. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to, stand in front of the sun and not get burned and show you what our star is doing to help you out and hinder you. So without further ado, I guess that's what I'll do right now. I'll give you a little bit of live update. I tell you, space weather this week has gotten very interesting. Right now, we actually are at active conditions because of this coronal hole right here, we have some fast solar wind coming from that coronal hole. And even though we're basically at solar minimum, you can see it's a pretty blank disk. There's not any bright regions there, which, is making the solar flux kind of, not so great. But we do actually have fast enough solar wind that we do have what looks like could be a real solar storm happening. We are probably getting aurora right now. I haven't been able to check in with anybody, but it's definitely brightening. And we could, over the next day or two, continue up into storm conditions. So you guys might get some auroral propagation here over the next maybe 24 to 36 hours before things begin to die down. So have some fun on the Earth's night side. If you get a chance to fire up the transmitters during, at nighttime after the sun goes down. Now, after we have this thing, and this is great and this is wonderful, but if you look over here, you can actually see a little bit of wispy stuff kind of popping every now and again. That is kind of a hint of what's to come. And usually on Ham Nation, I won't show the backside of the sun, but I absolutely have to because of what you see happening right here. Watch, you'll see this pop. Do you see that? Did you see that little wispy kind of thing? And you'll see, I think another one may pop faster than that in just a second. If not, there you go, boom, right there. That is some really cool stuff that's happening on the backside. And amateur radio operators, you guys, all of us are going to be very excited. This is old. This is now the backside of the sun. So this is a stereo view. It's actually kind of looking from the side. So right here is where, right about where Earth ends up seeing. We can only see to about this far of the limb. So the stereo actually sees the backside of the sun a little bit. And if you notice, there's some really bright regions right there. Those bright regions, that's old region 2738 and then 2739. And these two have been fighting on the sun's backside, which is really great news for us because not only does it mean they're very bright, but they've been firing solar storms. You'll see one they fired one, and then you'll see another right there. You'll see boom right there, boom right there, and then even more. Wham, bam, thank you, sun. We are absolutely seeing 4, maybe 5 different solar storms over the last couple of days, all fired on the sun's backside. These are going to be rotating. These regions will be rotating into Earth view probably in the next 2 to 3 days. So we will start seeing that solar flux begin to rise. And I think right now we're in the low 60s, but it's going to climb. And that's going to be great news with these regions being so active. It means they're likely going to continue to stay that way over easily the next 2 weeks as they rotate all the way across the Earth-facing sun. So we could have some decent radio propagation here over the next 2 weeks, maybe even into Hamvention, before things begin to die down a little bit, because these guys are really, we haven't seen this kind of activity for quite some time. Now, if I let me switch to my 5 days here so you guys can take a look. Actually, I'll switch to this one and I'll make it big for you. So hopefully you can see this. And I don't know why it's blocking that. Hopefully it's not going to block. I think it'll go away. No, let me go back. Sorry, guys. All right, so it's live TV. What can you say? Okay, hopefully this little thing will go away. But this is the aurora, the solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities. And you can see by the second we are really, and we're actually already seeing it. We're seeing active conditions. We've actually gotten active conditions south as mid-latitudes. So this means we are actually seeing aurora right now. There could be auroral propagation on the band. So, if you're in the United States, obviously point your antennas kind of north, and you might even catch some auroral propagation if you're near the gray line or beyond. And then, of course, always know with aurora, you'll start off kind of northeast as kind of the aurora rises, and then as you go through midnight, it goes straight north, and as it goes to the pre-dawn hours, it'll go west because the aurora will set in the west, just like the sun and the moon. They rise in the east and they set in the west. Same thing with aurora. So you might have to, move your antenna as you try to catch that propagation. But we should be having active conditions even down to mid-latitudes here over the next couple days. At higher latitudes, we could be seeing major storming, and we could storm clear into the weekend. So this is actually a pretty big storm for us right now, and even considering its solar minimum. So enjoy it while you have it, but it will be dying down here pretty quickly. Now, as far as the solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook goes, well, we do have a spotless sun right now, But that's going to change, luckily, because region 27, 38, and 39 are going to be rotating into view here in the next couple days. We're sitting at about in the high 60s for solar flux, which means poor radio propagation. Too bad. But that's not going to last, because as those regions begin to get on the sun's limb right there in Earth view, we'll start seeing the fringe of them. And that bright stuff actually actually extends out far enough that it can actually change the solar flux when it's as low as it is. So even before we see those bright regions, the solar flux will climb a little bit, and then they'll start popping around the limb, and we could easily get into the mid 70s for solar flux, which I know is still pretty bad, but for solar minimum, at least it'll pop us up back to marginal conditions for radio propagation on Earth's day side. So this is good news, and these conditions will continue easily over the next 2 weeks, so possibly even into Hamvention before things fall back off the map again. And that's it for space weather.
Thank you, Dr. T. This is amazing to have you on live. So happy that you're here. And of course, if you're not following her on Twitter, you really need to, at Tamitha Skov. When do you sleep? It's like I see you pop up on Twitter all the time. Do you sleep at all?
A little bit more now that it's solar minimum, but I'm actually trying to catch up on the sleep, because in a couple years it's going to be crazy busy. So,
that's true.
and the nice thing is that I'm actually going to end up being on the bands. I think I'm going to actually start doing some space weather, talking about space weather on the bands here in the next couple years. I may not suffer quite so much with solar minimum. I'm kind of a chicken to get on the bands if they're completely dead and have people yell at me, why isn't the sun, doing more? When is it going to wake up and, give us something? Bad girl.
That's right. It's not your fault.
It's my
Awesome.
fault. No.
Well, listen, we're so proud to have you on the team, and I'm flattered that you list me as the reason that you're in ham radio. That's very flattering, and it's not just me. It's all of us here on Ham Nation who brought you in, and you're as big a part of the team as any of us. And we love you, and we thank you so much for being part of the team, Dr. T. And we will catch your report again next week. Love Dr. T. And again, follow her on Twitter if you're not, at Tamitha Skov. Speaking of all of us should be doctors, the Dean of Contest University, Tim Duffy, is here, and he's got Michael Coulter with him. Tim, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing good, Don. Congratulations to you and all of the Ham Nation team on 400 episodes. That's just a tremendous dedication to this hobby that we all love. And we're so excited to see Dr. T here this evening. She'll be with us in 2 weeks at Contest University. She is a teaching professor, and she's also at the Hamvention Antenna Forum, giving a different presentation there. And we're so excited about the 2019 Dayton Hamvention, now in Xenia, Ohio, at the Greene County Fairgrounds. And Michael, you must be one busy guy right now.
I'm just one of 750 busy people, and I want to say hello to all of our volunteers and really thank them for all that they do for Hamvention. And thank all of you. There's been so much good advertisement and talk about Hamvention throughout this whole program that we're excited for everybody to come and celebrate amateur radio as our big radio family there in Xenia, Ohio.
And Michael, there's so many exciting things that you have improved this year for Hamvention, and one of them is you've improved the flea market and added additional asphalt.
That's correct. There's even as we speak, there's the roads are being improved to make it even more favorable for people going through the flea market. We also we're adding more food trucks, so we want to really up our game in food. We have better tents this year. They'll have better light. We spent a lot more money on the. Unfortunately, we don't have a building yet, but we still want all of our vendors and guests to be more comfortable and to be able to see well. And we're excited ARRL is going to have their convention there. And there's just so many good things happening.
And it's exciting. Everybody comes from all over the world to experience Hamvention. And another improvement that I'm pretty excited about is the inside the buildings. You have additional cooling this year.
That's right. There's some huge fans. They don't go really fast, but they're moving air, and all the air makeup units that bring fresh air into those buildings have been gone over and in top working condition. So we're really excited. We think it's going to be even more comfortable for folks there this year.
You know, and then here a few weeks ago, a really exciting announcement about allowing people to attend Hamvention on Sunday for free. Tell us about that.
Well, that gives a lot of people an opportunity who might not come otherwise, that actually maybe live within 100 miles or so, or even maybe a little farther of the Hamvention. And so they can come in for free, and it could spark more excitement, bring in some people that are interested in being hams. And so we're going to try it out this year, but I think it's going to be a success too.
I really do. I think this is a great way of even giving back to a lot of people that are curious about ham radio. And the sheriff of Greene County, once again, will be very active in making sure that the traffic is under control.
Absolutely. Sheriff Gene Fisher, he went down to Hamcation down in Orlando, and we had a booth down there to advertise Hamvention, and he worked right there with us, with me, and the other volunteers. And he is all about making Hamvention the best that he can do. I do want to mention just a few more things, Tim. Check our website out, and hamvention.org. There's plenty of good information in there, what's going to happen. And I just really want to thank and congratulate Bob Heil, Dr. Heil, and the team. And the team has put this whole thing together. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out there in Xenia. And I think we're going to have a great Hamvention. And I appreciated Dr. T's forecast that propagation might be pretty decent for Hamvention. So thank you, Dr. T.
Well, and there will be a special event station right on the grounds. I guess you got permission to have a tower there this year. So a lot of exciting improvements for Hamvention. We're going to have Contest University the day before on Thursday. And if you haven't signed up, there's still time to sign up at contestuniversity.com. And, of course, you can learn about all the evening activities at contestsupersuite.com. On Wednesday night, Ham Nation will be live from the Crown Plaza in downtown Dayton, and everybody's welcome to come down. We'll have a pizza party at 10:30, but you'll be able to see Bob Heil and Val and everybody associated with the show that is at Hamvention on Wednesday night. And, of course, big dinners, the Top Band dinner on Friday night, and the contest dinner with Dr. Ted Rappaport speaking on Saturday night. And but you can find all the information right off of Contest Super Suite, along with a Japanese singer this year down at the Crown Plaza on Friday night. So lots of great things. And Michael, one final thing, your ham of the year this year, which is W2NAF Dr. Nathaniel Frizzell.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Frizzell, just an amazing young man, and you're going to see more and more things that young man's doing. And I've had a chance to talk to him a few times, and I think we made a really good choice in picking Nathaniel. Probably the youngest ham of the year, but very deserving. To me, he's like a young Joe Taylor. He's amazing, and what he's bringing to amateur radio with youth and with his youth and getting people excited in it is just truly amazing.
It's going to be a really great event. So, and there'll be a lot of live streaming. I know DX Engineering will be doing a lot of Facebook live streaming. So if you can't make it to Hamvention, just tune into the internet. And for those of you who are coming, we hope to see all of you there. Have a great time at Hamvention 2019. So, Don, it's back to you, and we're pumped up and excited. We're ready to go right now.
I guess you are. I'm sad that I'm going to miss Hamvention this year, but I've got another Hamfest that I'm going to a little bit later on in the year. I'm going to Huntsville, obviously, in August, but there's another one that we'll talk about a little bit later on when the news is released. So I'll be out on the road a little bit, just not to Hamvention this year. Tim, Michael, you guys are amazing. You're huge supporters of the show as well, and we love you guys, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Somebody else that we appreciate a lot is the new sponsor to Ham Nation. That is LDG Electronics. LDG provides state-of-the-art automatic antenna tuners for every amateur need, from QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable, remote. An LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using their lightning-fast proprietary tuning algorithms. You want to check out the LDG AT1000 Pro 2. That is the flagship automatic antenna tuner from LDG, made for QRO hams. It'll give you 1,000 watts SSB or 500 watts FM digital coverage, tuned from 1.8 to 54 megahertz continuously. You can match your Yagi, your dipole, your inverted V, sloper, virtually any coax-fed antenna from 6 to 1,000 ohms in impedance. Tuning time, under 10 seconds. Once you have that in memory, 0.2 of a second. 0.2 second memory tuning time. Large, easy-to-read bar graph watt meter with 2 selectable ranges, dual antenna switch, 2,000 memories for each position. LDG is a family-owned and operated company, and they are dedicated to bringing innovative quality products to the amateur market, and they're very good at what they do. Their focus is on anticipating and meeting your needs and providing you with world-class support that is only a call or an email away. All the LDG tuners carry a full 2-year warranty. It's fully transferable. If you ever sell or give away your LDG tuner, the remainder of the warranty goes with it. Free return shipping on all warranty repairs should you ever need that. You probably won't, but should you? They got it. All LDG products, including balance and cables, are available for purchase through select retailers. So check out which automatic antenna tuner is right for you and go to ldgelectronics.com to learn more. ldgelectronics.com, and we thank LDG Electronics for their support of Ham Nation. I had one of those LDG tuners for a good long time. Works great on wire antennas. You know who else uses wire antennas? WTWW shortwave on 5085 and the other frequencies they've got. Join Ted Randall tonight after the show and check him out. You know, you can listen to WTWW on Alexa. Just, tell Alexa to play WTWW and she'll do it. She's crazy like that. Of course, they don't use LDG tuners because they're running 100,000 watts, but that's okay. I'll tell you somebody else who is strictly QRO, and that is Randy. K7AGE. Randy's with us now. Randy, take it away.
Hi, Randy, K7AG. I got a little project I'm working on here, but I'd just like to stop. Can you believe 400 Ham Nation shows over the last 8 years? Absolutely amazing. I'd like to thank Bob and Gordo and George for inviting me to join Ham Nation to help out with the Smoke and Solder segment many years ago. Also, thanks to Leo and Victor and all the Twit.tv crew for all their help that they provide. And also thanks to all the Ham Nation advertisers. So, many of us on the show are builders and makes all sorts of projects, but we know a lot of our viewers out there are also soldering and building and, making things, maybe with a 3D printer or even writing software for a project. And we want to see it. We'd like to show it to the Ham Nation viewers. So take some photos and write up a little description and send it off to me at hamprojects@twit.tv. 73 and congratulations.
All right, Randy, we'd like to thank you so much for all of your videos and everything you do for Ham Nation, and very educational. I think I've learned a lot from you, and you can see his YouTube videos as well. So search for him. All right. I'd like to now introduce Dan Vanenhoven, who we most know as our wiki man. He always puts in the wiki notes for our shows and adds all of those links and everything that we've missed answering your questions on. And we really appreciate it. Also, he does some pretty cool videos, and we have one now. So we're going to go ahead and watch that.
This is Dan, N9LVS, the wiki master for Ham Nation. I've been doing the wiki since episode 3. Give you a quick little overview of what the wiki all involves. The main page consists of general information about Ham Nation, how long it's been on the air, and all of its hosts. It also gives you a complete list of all the shows that we've done on Ham Nation, all 400. And for each show, there's an episode wiki as well. The episode wiki gives you some general information at the top, plus all the hosts that are on Ham Nation. It'll also tell you what guest was on that episode, as well as what topics were covered, as well as a complete list of the check-ins for the after show net. And let's not forget the sponsors. Hard to believe it's been 400 episodes. From the Ham Shack of N9LVS, 7-3, and thank you for watching.
Well, thank you, Dan. We appreciate that. I have a few thank yous I'd like to give out too. First of all, I'd love to say thank you to Twit for having us on here. This has been unbelievable. And I don't know how Bob and Gordo actually chose me to be on this show. I wouldn't say that it was a chosen one, but they found some of the things that I wrote online on QRZ very interesting, and they thought this would be a perfect fit. And I think that they're right. I really enjoy my time on here, and I really enjoy sharing all of my Aries activities. So I hope you all enjoy them as much as I do. I'd also like to thank Leo and Lisa and the crew at Twit. You guys work so hard. Victor, I don't know how you're not addicted to drugs after dealing with our show. It's rough. And tonight especially, you've done a superb job. And thank you to all of our other guests tonight. We've had some great guests, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have some pretty nice guests and a lot of information. So that's a big thing you have to look at. I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, also to all of my co-hosts. You're awesome. You bring such great content to the show, and it's talked about every week on all of the nets. And that brings me to all of our net controls. You guys rock it. You host a net every Wednesday night. You take all of the check-ins and you listen to all the comments about the show, and you do it just every week. We really, really appreciate you and your efforts to help keep the show going. And to our viewers, you viewers are awesome. We wouldn't be here without you. If nobody watched the show, we definitely wouldn't be on Leo's studio. So I really appreciate that as well. I asked some people, what do you want to see now? What's for the next 400 episodes? And a lot of people say more building projects. And Bob, I think your Miko project is right in line with that. Don't you agree?
Well, I have things planned. Let's put it that way. All I have to do is find a little time. So we're going to get into that because I do have some things that are going to be fun and hopefully educational. That's the main thing. So we're working on a couple of things. So stay tuned and send me pictures of your pine board or anything you're working on. Randy has a whole list of things that he will be showing us in his project. So send your projects to us so we can get them to Randy. And keep those soldering irons warm, okay? That ought to be it right there, Amanda. Just keep those soldering irons warm.
I think you're right. I think we need to do that. And a lot of others, we have. So, Bob, you probably have some of the statistics on this. I can say that word. We have a lot of Twit viewers that managed to run into this show that had no idea what ham radio was or were not interested in ham radio that became ham radio operators. And I know there's some in the chat room right now. Isn't that amazing that we get to reach out to a public that wasn't even interested in this?
Well, that's kind of how Leo got the idea for this, because his network has been about computers and the digital things. And the only reason that we got together was because he won a PR40. It was one of the very first ones that we had produced. It was a prize at a podcast convention way back in probably 2006. And he won the microphone and he was enamored with it. He said, this is it. So then he had to find out who I was, what High L Sound was, how come this thing's better, da-da-da. And that's what started it all. Sarah and I went out and did that Triangulation 8 show. If you haven't seen it, please do look up Triangulation 8. I've done hundreds of interviews in my career. That was the best one. He's such a great interviewer. And during that, he said, let's do something on the network about ham radio. And I don't think Leo nor me figured out what was going to happen in the beginning, because there were a lot of computer guys that had been into amateur radio in their teens. They had a family. They had a career. And all of a sudden, here comes this thing about ham radio on Leo's computer show. That's how it started. And we know we have verification. Hundreds and hundreds of guys have gotten their license, gotten relicensed, got back in the hobby. That's what's really surprising to me and makes me very happy because it's the greatest hobby in the world. It really is. And I'm really, really blessed that Leo picks us all up and does things, because that #1 show was it was kind of crazy, but it was two crazy guys. That's why we did it. And there it is on your screen. If you haven't seen Ham Nation #1, go check it out, because we had a lot of fun doing that. So that's kind of the story here, and we're looking forward to, as Tim Allen said, the next 400. And
that's right.
You'll be around, won't you, Amanda?
I'm available every Wednesday. I promise you that. A couple of, I hear somebody chuckling back there. I have a couple of other comments about it. They said, I want to know more about some of the digital modes. And of course, FT4 just came out. So Randy, K7AGE, we expect a video on that very soon. And also, they said, I want to hear more about building. I want to hear more about indoor antennas. I want to hear more about stealth antennas. And that's pretty important. That's part of our lives in the HF world. We have to have working antennas. So I believe it. If you have any antenna projects, please send them to us. We'd love to show them to the viewers, as long as they work, you know. We'll show the ones that don't work, but we'll just say, do not do this. So, all right, I'm going to go over some net announcements tonight. We have the 20-meter net on 14,268, as well as the, did I say that right? 20-meter net on 14,268, and the 40-meter net on 7192. We also have DMR on TAC 311 and D-Star on 14 Charlie. And I know they've been waiting for your check-ins because we've run a little bit late tonight, but we really appreciate those net controls and everything you do for us. So with that, Bob, I can't believe we made it to 400, and I'm so grateful that you've invited me to be on this show. Thank you so much.
Well, we're glad you're here. And what we ought to do is go back to the studio and see if Victor has donned a white coat. I mean, we would probably put him in the corner. Victor, put that camera on you. Thank you so very much. You're the guy, and Alex, and all of you, Burke, Colleen. There are so many people that make this show happen, and we appreciate you doing it, because I throw you curves every night. This night is wow, and you did it no problem, so that's great.
No, it's always fun, Bob.
Well, we appreciate all of what you do, that's for sure. So we want everybody to go get your Ham Nation 400 shirt. You know how to do that. We want to get that happening. Don, thanks a lot, man, for all you do here, and we'll look forward to a whole nother 400. You'll be here for 400, won't you?
If the creek don't rise, and however that goes, yeah. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I'll be here.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up for the night, and I appreciate again Leo Laporte, Lisa, all of you back at the Petaluma studio, especially Victor. My gosh, we put him through so much, and every one of the hosts that each week spend their time with us and making it happen. And especially in my case, my sweet wife, Sarah, she shares me with you each Wednesday night. And sometimes it goes a lot longer than an hour. And tonight it's well over 2 hours they're going to be before we get all tore down. But that's part of ham radio, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So again, from all of us, 7-3, have fun and get on the air. Bye-bye for now. This is K9EID.
Bye-bye.